Hi there, Angela Raspass, your guide to a wholehearted business and life. And what I'd like to talk to you about this week is the whole process of making decisions. Now, life and business are absolutely full of decisions. Great big ones, little tiny ones, and lots of different ones in between. But why is it that we quite often tie ourselves up in knots? We procrastinate, we second guess ourselves, we weigh up the pros and cons. For so long, sometimes the options that were there disappear on us. Well, I think sometimes we take our decisions a little bit too seriously. Now, I don't mean to poo-poo the ones, the really big ones, the life-changing decisions. But I was told once that 90% of the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis don't have life-changing impact. And it's really important that we remember that and free ourselves up a little bit to make our decisions with more grace and ease. Now, I do have some tips and actually a 5-step process of some questions that you can ask yourself that allow you to move forward and make your decisions with a lot less stress. And I'd like to share that with you today. So let's start at the very beginning. What you need to have to be able to put these questions into place is a vision. Yes, I know it's been said many, many times before, but it is simply so important. If you are really clear on where it is that you are moving towards, then being able to evaluate the opportunities that come up for you and make a decision on whether or not this choice is a good one for you, it becomes so much easier. So that's step number 1, is to get your vision, whether it be for your business or for your life, very clear and set so that you can evaluate it. And then we start moving in and asking ourselves these very specific questions in relation to the decision in front of us. Now, number 1, once you've got that vision, you're asking yourself, will this choice or will this opportunity take me closer to achieving my vision, or will it take me off on some sort of wild goose chase or a path over to the right or left? Sure, the opportunity might sound fantastic, but if it's going to divert your attention and your energy, then it's probably not the right decision for you. The second question to ask yourself when you're looking at a choice or an opportunity is, does it sit well? Does it feel right? You've heard that expression about making a gut decision. Well, this is where your intuition comes into play. And I think that quite often we undervalue or devalue the role that intuition can play in our decision-making process. You'll know the feeling. When you're looking at those options, does one make you feel sort of constrained and a bit scared? Or does one make you feel lighter and more expansive? It's not something that I can tell you what to do, but if you think of those guidelines when you're looking at your choices in the decision, they're usually a very good way to follow that intuition that sits right here. Now, the third one that we need to consider is a universal principle, a universal law, something that I heard in a Tally Summit a while ago with Ali Brown and David Nagel. They were talking about, does this decision impact negatively on anyone? The concept is less life to none, more life to all. So the decision that you're making, does it have an impact on the people and things around you or on yourself? If it does have a negative impact, it's probably not the right decision for you. Again, that one tips into that feeling of intuition a little bit again. The fourth question to ask yourself for a decision is it scaring me? Am I pulling away from making this decision because it's bringing up some fear inside? Could it be that that is your mindset that you currently have holding you back, asserting itself and going, we're not going there, you might fail. Yes, you might. But the thing is that if you make a decision and it doesn't work out the way that you planned, you can make a new one. You can change. You can learn from that decision. But if fear is holding you back from moving in a new direction, that's something that you need to take a look at. Quite often it's just a skill gap. You know, becoming aware that I'd like to do this, but I'm here at the moment, is just a case of identification and then working out how to close that gap. So if fear is coming up, that's a good thing to have a look at. And the final thing that you need to think about is, when you're in decision-making mode, don't worry about the how. Quite often, we're trying to work out, well, if I make this decision, how will I make it happen? That's not what's on the table right now. What's right in front of you is just to make the decision itself. Once you have a commitment to that decision, you've made it and you're going forward with it, the how becomes obvious. The how starts to come up in your life. But if you're throwing yourself into the how will I make it happen when you haven't even actually made the decision and committed to it, then you're in the wrong space. So those are 5 steps and 5 questions to ask yourself when you're confronted with making a decision or making a choice. And I guarantee if you start asking yourself those questions in relation to your decision, it will become so much easier to make a decision with confidence. Now, there's a great quote from Brian Tracy, which I'd like to leave you with, and he says that decisiveness is a characteristic of high-performing men and women. Almost any decision is better than no decision at all. And that's absolutely true. As I said, if things don't quite work out as you expected, learn from it and make a new decision. And that's absolutely fine. Now, I'd love to hear under the video your own experiences with decision making. Is it something that's a piece of cake for you, or do you procrastinate for ages? Are there any other tips and ideas that you can share so that we can all learn how to make these decisions with grace and ease? I'm Angela Raspass, your guide to a wholehearted business and life, and I'll talk to you again soon.